Hey, hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess and I have got some books to show you. Well, I had planned to wait till the end of March to do this book haul, but then I kind of have more books than I thought I was gonna have. It's a mix of finding free books at the library, some thrift books, orders that I thought were lost showing up, gifts, so I'll go ahead and get into them. The first one is from Thrift Books, and that's All That Remains, A Life and Death by Sue Black. So this was one I ordered from Thrift Books. They said it was lost. I got to refund it, so essentially it was free, which is good because it's not in the best condition, you know? But I've talked about this book a few times. So Dame Sue Black is a forensic anthropologist. She used to be a professor at the University of Dundee in Northern Scotland, but now I think she is like the chancellor of Lancaster University. Anywho, this is basically a memoir of her life, how she really got into the death industry essentially, and how she became a forensic anthropologist. She talks about, you know, things that impacted her in her youth that led her towards this decision. One thing I related to was she said that, you know, she never really wanted or had any desire to work with the living. It's like, I feel that so hard. And so forensic anthropology really studies obviously like bones, but also people. So if a person is, they find a body that's deceased and they can't identify it, it depends on, you know, the state of the body, but they use all sorts of different clues and information to put together a profile to hopefully identify that person, from looking at their bones, looking at any bruising or surgery they might have endured, by, you know, looking at things on their bones or on their skin, making determinations of height and like ethnicity, looking at their clothes, the scene around them, the soil, the plants. Like, it's so interesting. I want to be a forensic, I was about to say pathologist. That's way too smart for me. I would love to be a forensic anthropologist, but I don't know how I would feel seeing a dead body. So anyway, if you're interested at all in that field, I would highly recommend this. I loved it. I listened to the audiobook, which she narrates, but I wanted a physical copy to look back on, reread. It's just really great. You should read it. Then I've got one of my favorite books from last year, and that's Ring Shout. Sorry. I love this book, or novella. Look, as much as I love this book, it almost hurt my heart how much this costs. I did order it from Bookshop. It's fine. Anyway, Ring Shout is by P. Jelly Clark. So this is a horror, like a fantasy horror story set in 1920s Georgia. And so we're following 3 Black women who are monster hunters. And the monsters that they are hunting are KKK, but some of them are human and some of them are actually Ku Kluxes, and certain people have like the sight and they can see which ones are Ku Kluxes, and some people cannot. And so that's all I want to say, because it is really short, but it is phenomenal from the very start. Like, he packs so much into these little pages, and I would say there's some like maybe body horror, like descriptions of like kind of gross body looking stuff, but it's so good. It's so good. Like, the amount of storytelling, world building, character development that he squeezes in these. Let me see how many pages this is. Like 180 pages. Phenomenal. So I can't wait to read more by him. I can't believe this is so small. I remember seeing this and I was like, I'm not reading no book with no daggone KKK on the front. And then I heard about it, and everyone needs to read Ring Shout. Right, another one that I've read, and that is Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. So this is the second one after Skyward. So let me tell you a story. This is the UK edition. I remember when they came out, because the US edition has like faces on it. I don't like that. And I saw these editions, and this is when I was trying to recover from being the president of Trashbox 20, when I used to just buy everything, even if I was interested in reading it or not. And so I was like, ooh, I really prefer this UK cover. I should buy it. And I was like, no, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait till we read it. Then I read it. I borrowed it from the library. Loved it. Starsight is the first one. No, wait. Skyward is the first one. Loved it. Go to buy the UK version, out of print. So, well, in the hardcover. So I had to get the paperback. I was really sad about it. However, I frequently window shop online, and I was looking on Blackwell's, and it showed that they had the second book in hardcover in stock and that they were doing a reprint of Skyward in the same edition hardcover. And I was like, look at this, my window shopping has paid off. And I posted about it on Instagram, and a bunch of people got it too, so like, y'all are welcome. But this one was already out, so the reprint is printed sometime in March, and so that'll be on its way, and I've already read both, but I love it. This is Brandon Sanderson's young adult science fiction series with our main character, Spencer. And she essentially is the daughter of like a trader. Her dad was a pilot for their like planet that they live on, but then he like abandoned them during this time of war. And so now she's not allowed to be a pilot. And so she's trying to fight against that because she really wants to become a pilot, and she, you know, wants to kind of avenge the family name. Oh, I loved it. And I love this one even more. Also, one word, doom slug. Read it. So some of these you probably have seen in my video that's out before this called Books I Need to Make a Priority. But again, I just want to mention that I got Alessia in Atlantis by Natalie Lane. This is a middle grade that's out March 1st. So this, you may be seeing this after that, but I'll have a link to it in the description. And it is a middle grade about Alessia, and somehow she's attacked by a giant frog monster, and she's plunged into an underwater realm of Atlantis. And so as of filming, I haven't read this yet, but I do plan to read it really soon. It sounds really good. And thank you again to the author for sending it to me. Like I said in that same video, I mentioned Black Sun by Rhone. Most people probably have heard of this. This was a gift from my lovely friend Steph, whose channel I will link down below. But this is a fantasy based on like the pre-Columbian Americas, which is just so exciting because I'm just excited to see more non-European focused fantasy because I love adult fantasy. And also, can we just look at this cover? I mean, it's stunning. But like the blurb in the book says, a god will return when the earth and sky converge under the black sun. Book one of the Between Earth and Sky trilogy, inspired by the civilizations of the pre-Columbian Americas and woven into a tale of celestial prophecies, political intrigue, and forbidden magic. Also, can we look at this map? So everyone is loving this on BookTube, so I want to get to it soon. I have not read this one, so I can see what the hype is all about. Another one of my favorites from 2020. Sorry, I don't know why I keep singing. Vida Nostra. I finally own this book. It was out of stock for a while, but I also want to make a correction. In my favorites video, I did say that this was originally written in Russian, and that's incorrect. So Marina and Sergei Dyachenko are from Ukraine, so it was originally written in Ukrainian and then translated to English by Julia Maitov-Hersey. I apologize if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. So I freaking love this book. It's so hard to explain, but this is the definition of dark academia, honey. This is it. So essentially, the main character is Sasha. She's like on a summer holiday with her mom, like before her senior year in high school, when she meets this weird dude who ends up like telling her she has to do these things or bad things are gonna happen to her loved ones. And eventually she does, which results in her getting these gold coins. And so she keeps those, goes back home, thinks everything is normal. But when she's applying to university, the dude pops back up and it's like, no, you're not going there. You're going to the special university. And it's very complicated because she's like, no. And he's like, yes. So she ends up at the special university that no one's heard of in this random ass place where they do some dark ass shit. And majority of the kids there are in the same predicament as her. Like they were chosen to come here, and basically the tokens are your price of admission, and they do some weird shit. Okay, they have normal classes, they have like English, they have physical education, but then there's a lot of metaphysics, a lot of like mental work. Like I don't even know how to explain it, but it's so gnarly. Like reading it, I was just like envisioning it all. It's so, I had no issue with this translation. You know, obviously I cannot read Ukrainian, so I can't read the original text to tell you how spot on the translation is. But for me, this book worked perfectly. I just was reading it and I think the descriptions, like I don't know how to explain it, but I could just see it so well. And so how he basically threatened her to make her start doing these things in the beginning by saying something had happened to your loved ones. It's kind of the same thing at school. It's like slack off if you want, fuck around if you want, but you will find out. And you know, grandma might come up missing, or somebody might have a broken leg. Like they're not playing this. I love this book. It is not for everyone, but it is dark academia at its finest. It's amazing. The only downside is that this is the first in a trilogy and it's the only one that's translated to English. However, I do follow the translator on Twitter and she made a vague hint to stand by. So I'm hoping that means that all y'all are reading Vita Nostra and the publisher is noticing and that she is going to get to translate the next 2 books. Please, Jesus, please. So I love that one so much. I picked up Daughter of the Dark, which is separate. It's not in the Vita Nostra series, but it's also by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko. Also, I just was like, this is making me, and you wrote Vita Nostra. I literally don't know anything else about it, but they wrote it. So this says, in this extraordinary standalone novel, ooh, we love a standalone, the authors and translators of Vita Nostra return with a story about creation, music, and companionship filled with their hallmark elements of subtle magic and fantasy. Yeah, I don't need to know anything else. Standalone, yeah, I'm gonna eat this shit up. But can we get Vita Nostra 2 and 3, please? This was mentioned in a previous video, but The Long Way to a Small Angular Planet, that was gifted to me by my friend Steph. And this is the first in Becky Chambers' Wayfarer series, which is a very character-focused science fiction story. I literally don't know anything else about it. And I'm not going to. Like on the back, it just says, when Rosemary joins the crew of the Wayfarer, she isn't expecting much. The patched up ship has seen better days, but it offers her everything she could possibly want. A spot to call home, a chance to explore the far off corners of the galaxy, and some distance from her past. And nothing could be further from what she's known than the crew of the Wayfarer. So I think there's different like species on the plane. And yeah, we really just get like a cozy science fiction story, and I'm here for it. So this one I got for free at my library. They have just like a section of free paperback books. And I got Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. I am doing a buddy read with my friend Danny in March. It may or may not be ongoing or finished by the time you see this. But this is a historical fiction novel. I believe that's what it would be categorized as because it is set in the 18th century in Ghana. So you have 2 half-sisters and they don't know of each other's existence. And it says one will marry an Englishman and lead a life of comfort in the palatial rooms of the Cape Coast castle. The other will be captured in a raid on her village, imprisoned in the very same castle and sold into slavery. So this sounds like I'm going to be crying a bucket of tears, but I've heard nothing but amazing things about the story, about her writing, so then I have another gift, and it's Gideon the Ninth. I had read this or started it before on ebook, but I didn't feel like it was the best book for me to read on ebook. And so someone did send me this paperback copy, which I am so grateful for. Like, everyone has heard about this book and lesbian necromancers in space. I'm really nervous because I hear the writing is different. And the second book is already out. So there's definitely people who are just like hardcore team this book and hardcore not team this book. So it'll be interesting to see where I fall. I feel like no one's really in the middle. It's like love it or hate it. So we'll see. And lastly, I have another popular book right now, and that's Legend Board by Tracy Deonn. This cover is gorgeous and it has a cool little thing on the cover. So I'm currently reading this for a buddy read, and by the time you see this video, we'll already have done a live show. So I am doing a buddy read with Jessie May and Elliot Brooks. I'll link their channels down below. I'm pretty sure you know them, especially Elliot. But yes, as I'm talking right now, it's Friday. I need to have this finished by tomorrow, and I am like 48% through. So I have a lot to read after I finish filming this video. But so this is based on the like Arthurian legend, which I really don't know much about, never really like looked into. It's never been something that's interested me that much. There's also some other like a secondary magic system, but I don't want to like talk about that one in case that spoils you. But basically we have Bree, and she's 16 and she's going to like an early college program at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And her mother has recently died, so she's dealing with that grief. And she starts seeing some things that makes her question if magic exists and if that had anything to do with her mother's death. And basically there's secret societies at UNC, and she's starting to see how that ties in to magic and also racism. So yeah, it's interesting so far. I'm not loving it as much as other people have loved it, but I'm not finished. Either way, this is a beautiful cover, and I'm happy to support Tracy Deonn, but I don't read a lot of young adult fantasy anymore. and I just feel like I just don't connect to it. I don't know. Anyway, I'm still not finished, but I did get this. Some of these books were bought with gift cards also, and people have sent me gift cards to bookshop.org. So like, thank you so much. It means so much that you sent it to bookshop. Like, I'm so happy. But anyway, I've got all these books. So how many of these have I read? One. Hold on. Whew. I need a sandwich. I'm gonna make me a BLT. Good thing we got new bookshelves downstairs. I know you can't see it in this camera, but this here room, it's a mess right now. It's a mess. I've only read 4? I really thought I had read more than that. Hold on. Oh my God, I've only read 4 of these? I feel so ashamed. Anyway, these are all the lovely books that I have acquired. I have more coming. I'm trying to support the economy. Honestly, I would not have this many if people were not sending me books and gift cards, okay? I can't just let their money go to waste. I mean, that would be rude. But anyway, I do plan to read a lot of these soon, honestly. Like, I plan to read this one soon. I plan to, okay, like, I'm feeling guilty that I'm holding all these books and I have more. I am feeling guilty, but I plan to read them. Anyway, if you bought me any books, you sent me a book, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a like, subscribe, check out the description box. I'll have all of these links to things that are happening in the world, my social media, and if you want to support my channel. But thanks again for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.